From Brady and Gronkowski winning awards left, right, and center, to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce unleashing terror on their opponents. These are some of the best NFL duos of all time. First, we've got Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Brady and Gronkowski were like the superheroes of football. Brady was already the quarterback king, and he'd won a ton of awards and championships. And he had Gronk, who was a giant among tight ends, as his sidekick. For 8 seasons, from 2013 to 2018, and then from 2020 to 2021, Brady and Gronk were a dynamic duo. Brady got the MVP award in 2017, and his teams won the big championship called the Super Bowl in 2014, 2016, 2018, and 2020. Gronk was a beast on the field, catching lots of passes and scoring touchdowns. He was so good that he got special honors 3 times. And in 2 of those Super Bowl games, he made amazing touchdown catches. When people talk about football in the early 2000s, they absolutely can't leave out Brady and Gronk. And just like these two, people also can't get enough of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. The Bengals have found themselves a dream team in Burrow and Chase. These two have been tearing up the field together, and they look set to lead Cincinnati to greatness for a long time. In just 2 short years, they've already taken the Bengals to 2 AFC Championship games. Burrow, the guy slinging the football, has been lighting up the stats sheet. He's been second best in completing his passes, second in gaining big yards with each throw, and third in tossing touchdowns. And he's taken the top spot with a passer rating of 104.2. Now let's talk about Chase. He's Burrow's go-to guy, and he's been incredible. And get this, in 2022, he managed to break the 1,000-yard mark in receiving yards, even though he missed 5 games. That's some serious talent. Together, Burrow and Chase make up one of the most exciting duos in all of football. But I can't talk about exciting duos and not mention that the Raiders also have a dynamic duo that's the envy of every NFL offense. Josh Jacobs and Davante Adams. It's like having the league's top rusher and the most amazing receiver in the last 5 years on the same team. There's Jacobs, who's been running like a freight train. He became the first Raider since the legendary Marcus Allen in 1985 to nab the rushing title, with 1,643 yards and 12 touchdowns. And he didn't stop there. His total yardage from scrimmage, a whopping 2,053, were also tops in the league. Jacobs has hit 1,000 rushing yards in 3 out of his 4 seasons, and his career numbers are eye-popping. He's 4th in the league with 4,740 rushing yards and tied for 3rd with 40 rushing touchdowns. Then we have Adams, the wide receiver extraordinaire. This guy has been catching passes like no other. In the entire NFL over the last 5 seasons, he's basically on the path to the Hall of Fame. In his very first year with the Raiders, Adams made a massive impact, racking up 100 catches, 1,516 yards, and a league-leading 14 touchdowns. Plus, he's been a first-team All-Pro for 3 straight years. Having Jacobs and Adams on the same team is like a quarterback's dream come true. They're 2 of the absolute best at what they do, and they make the Raiders' offense a force to be reckoned with. But the Raiders aren't the only ones lucky to have an insane duo. The Dolphins are also quite lucky with Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. In their very first season as teammates, Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle didn't just make waves. They practically rewrote the Miami Dolphins record books. Before 2022, the franchise's record for the most receiving yards in a single season had been held by Mark Clayton, who had a remarkable 1,389 yards back in 1984. Mark Duper also had a couple of standout seasons in the 1980s with 1,306 yards in 1984 and 1,313 yards in 1986, making him the only other receiver to surpass the 1,300-yard mark in Dolphins history. Now, fast forward to 2022. Hill took the league by storm with a jaw-dropping 1,710 receiving yards, smashing that old franchise record to pieces. Meanwhile, Waddle was no slouch either, notching up an impressive 1,356 receiving yards, which became the third highest total in Dolphins history. These guys were on fire. And the best part is that they achieved all of this with their starting quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, available for only 12 games. Imagine if Tua had been healthy for the entire season. Everyone's pretty sure that Hill could have hit the 2,000-yard mark. And together, this dynamic duo might have combined for nearly 3,800 yards. But do you have an idea who the best running back duo could be? Of course, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Jones and Dillon bring their A game, with both of them earning top 5 rushing grades. And the stats speak for themselves. Jones powered his way to the 10th spot in the NFL with 1,121 rushing yards, scoring twice on the ground. But that's not all. He added another 395 yards through the air and found the end zone 5 more times with his receiving skills. Dillon wasn't about to be outdone either. He bulldozed his way to 770 rushing yards and a whopping 7 touchdowns of his own. So while the Browns duo may have held this spot for a while, Jones and Dillon have taken the reins and are charging full steam ahead. With their impressive grades and game-changing performances, they're the ones to watch in the backfield. But nothing beats the magic that Reggie Wayne and Peyton Manning created. They were a match made in football heaven. Wayne's incredible streak of 7 consecutive seasons with over 1,000 receiving yards owed a lot to Manning's pinpoint passes, no doubt about it. Manning, on the other hand, was a consistent force, never dipping below 3,500 passing yards during his time with the Colts. And that's partly because he had some amazing receivers to throw to. When these two teamed up, magic happened. They combined for a staggering 76 touchdowns, including their playoff adventures, and even clinched the Super Bowl 41 victory. What's even more astonishing is how they managed their top-tier performance year after year. They were so good that they shared the Pro Bowl stage for 5 consecutive years, showing the world just how exceptional they were as a duo. And while we're talking about exceptional duos, it would be uncool not to mention Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Undoubtedly, Mahomes and Kelce bring out the best in each other. When they're in sync, the Chiefs' offense operates at a level that's among the best in the NFL. In his relatively short career, Mahomes has already snagged 2 league MVP awards and secured a spot on the AP All-Pro team 3 times. Plus, they've consistently made it to the AFC Championship game in all 5 of their playoff runs. That's the kind of consistency most teams only dream of. But wait, there's more. Kelce's just as good. For 5 consecutive seasons, he's been a reception and yard machine, with no fewer than 92 receptions or 1,125 receiving yards each year. He's also earned All-Pro recognition for every single season, including a remarkable 3 first-team honors. When we think about the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty, there's no denying that Mahomes and Kelce are the driving force behind it all. And finally, Cameron Hayward and T.J. Watt. Hayward, who's been holding it down with the Steelers since 2011, teamed up with Watt in 2017 and has been nothing short of amazing ever since. Now, Hayward may not have the same flashy exterior as some other players, being an interior lineman and all, but opponents have known to fear this guy. With 396 tackles, 53.5 sacks, and 4 AP All-Pro honors in the last 6 seasons, he's been an absolute force on the field. As for Watt, well, he's in the spotlight a bit more thanks to his famous brother J.J. Watt. But make no mistake, T.J. Watt is a superstar in his own right. This edge rusher has rushed up an impressive 333 tackles, with 77.5 sacks to his name. He even secured the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2021, and has been in the top 3 for that honor a couple more times. Not to mention, he's earned All-Pro status 3 times as well. Now, pass rushers might not get as much love as the guys who score touchdowns or make dazzling catches, but Hayward and Watt are proof that they deserve every bit of recognition they get. They're an impressive duo, wreaking havoc on opposing offenses and making life tough for anyone who lines up against them. These were some of the best NFL duos of all time. But if you want to check out what else NFL players get up to, make sure to click on this next video.